Well, I am getting my beautiful brick border along the walkway up to the front porch. And Javier is down here showing me how he's doing it. So Javier, let's demonstrate how you lay a soft set brick run up and down a walkway.
All right, so let's just...
Well, let me start over here because Sergio is actually doing the first step. Sergio, aren't you? And you're just digging a trench.
Yeah.
That's approximately the length of the bricks. And we will come down here to where the steps begin. And then once he digs the trench, Javier comes over here and kind of levels it, puts some of this crushed gravel in, I guess. Am I right? Okay, screenings, yes. And then we have spacers, and this is how we get them, yes, very equidistant up and down the run. And this is actually one spacer that Javier had the idea that we break it into multiple parts, didn't you, Javier?
Yes.
And I brought this from my other house because it was exactly the space that I wanted, just like I had before. I was so pleased with it. So he just takes those bits and pieces, and then he takes a brick and puts it in place after he gets these screenings or this crushed gravel. Again, this is soft set. It's not in concrete, so I didn't have to get HP or historic preservation approval for this. And then he's got just a rubber mallet.
Yep. For puck it down.
Okay. Make sure it's level. And if it's not, he hammers it a little bit more, don't you?
Yep. That's right.
Javier, did you do this over at my other house?
No.
Or did somebody else do it? I can't
think
remember.
Somebody else, because Nagi's start working in there, that's already done.
Yeah. I think somebody else may have done it. I think I did some of it, and then maybe Victor helped me with some of it. But it is looking great. And over here, what do we got going over here? Some leveling of the terrain. And later today, I think we might even put the window box in place if we don't run out of time. You're going to get it done. And then I've got all of these wonderful better boxwood here. This is the variety Renaissance. And Lalo's doing the planting, aren't you, Lalo?
Yeah.
So in here, this is actually one that already existed on the property, and we're putting it in place here, digging out pieces of concrete, but this will be a nice green punctuation point. And I think, do you have some soil amendment you're going to put in there, Lalo?
Yes.
Yeah, some back to nature compost and things like that, because that soil's, it needs a little bit of improving, a little bit of drainage. So that's it for now at Cottage on the Hill. I'll give you some more updates a little bit later. Well, it is 84 today, you guys. It's pretty hot, too hot for this time of year. But I think it cools down tomorrow. So we've laid the pavers, the flagstone, stepping stones that go from the walkway. Doesn't that brick look fabulous? From the walkway over to the west side of the house, where there is another walkway that accesses the backyard, concrete walkway. And I think one of my favorite things so far, I wasn't exactly sure where I was going to put them, but these Miss Lemon abelia are just going to be so gorgeous over here in this area. And they'll get a little bit of protection, but I love the variegation of them. I love the delicacy of them. I love the way the branches kind of flutter in the breeze. pollinators love them. And this is, I have different kinds of abelia from Southern Living Plants, but this is Miss Lemon. I had it at my other house and I just love it. So this walkway is going to be very, very romantic, really good looking in kind of a sweet way. And will be beautiful again next spring when the red buds bloom. Accompanied by lots of other blooming bulbs, maybe some daffodils and some tulips. So across this expanse, from the corner with the urn over to the October Glory maple, this is where the south side of the grid will be. And it will have the same brick border, and it will also have some 12 by 12 pavers, the same size as the pavers upon which the urns sit. These are recycled. These are recycled from the other side, from the east side of the cottage, that run up and down the length of the house on the east side as pavers and as the walkway before. But since that is going to have flagstone, we wanted to repurpose these. So they will run across this expanse in a pattern of 6 bricks, one 12 by 12 paver, then another 6 bricks until we get to the end. And that will form this grid. At this point on the design, it shows boxwood running along that length. And I may or may not do that boxwood, partly because of the size of the better boxwood is a little bit smaller than I would like ideally for obvious reasons. Not much of it is even in supply. It's that wonderful blight resistant boxwood. So what I may do is, instead of doing a hedge run, I may do clumps of it in equidistant locations running across the expanse. In other words, what I call little villages. And those will be determined after the grid is finished. So right now the guys are putting the final coat on the window box, which will then be put into place. And we're starting to do some selective planting over here on the west side. And then as soon as we can, we will try to install these pavers, the flagstone walkway over to the sidewalk on the west side of the house. If for no other reason, then they are getting in the way of the hoses. So I'm still wrangling hoses even at this point. And someone had made the comment that I'm not doing a lot of the planting. Some of these are huge specimens, and I did that for 35 years at the other house. And now some of these larger specimens, I'm having these guys dig the holes and get it into place as I continue to make decisions and design changes. We did get the pots back up on the porch. And some of the staging, which is one of my very favorite parts, some of the staging is beginning to come into place. And over on this side, as promised, you can see here that third gorgeous Yopon holly is in place. And by the way, the entire profile of Hill Cottage will change as all of these trees leaf out and as more plants get into place. So with great skill, Lalo is now burying the stepping stones. And what he did was make a template of the stone itself. And then he's digging that out with a flat shovel. And the template is almost perfect. So now these will be at ground level. They will be in grade, which will do a number of things. Number one, it will make them look better, but it will also really create a frustration, and that is the hoses will not catch on the edges of them anymore. And of course, and very obviously, they'll be more foot sure. So it looks like the guys have one in the back. They're working from the ends towards the middle. And once they get in place, I think they'll be really secure. Meanwhile, Sergio is hard at it, finishing up this last section of Brick Run. And he just informed Lalo and the guys, who probably already knew it, but that underneath those pavers, they would put some screenings, some of the crushed gravel, which, as I said, will help secure them more, give them a little bit of cushion almost, and help fortify them in place and stabilize them.